So today is a bit of a sad day for me because I am parting with a vehicle which I'm very attached to. Now, the thing about me is a vehicle is more than just a thing to get you from point A to point B. I see character and life in them, and to me, I remember my grandma saying to me once, the way I talk about cars, it's almost like they're alive. So today is the day that I sell my beloved Reliant. My 1994 Reliant Rialto van has been one of the absolute best vehicles I've ever owned. This Reliant Rialto I've owned for about 3 years, and when I got it I had to do a substantial amount of work to the engine. I had to drop it out and basically do a partial rebuild. But since then it's been just such a wonderful vehicle. You know, it's fun, it's economic, because it's made of fiberglass, it doesn't rust. And the whole point of it was, for my kind of independent work, my odd jobs and gardening, this was perfect, because I could fit everything I needed in the back, my lawnmower, strimmer, hedge trimmers, all my equipment and things. But it actually found a new role during the first lockdown. So when the pandemic hit the UK and the government locked down the entire country, in the village where I'm from, I heard stories that elderly people and high-risk and vulnerable people, and even people who were infected with COVID, were unable to get deliveries of essential items from supermarkets because the supermarkets were so overwhelmed with all the orders. So I thought, this just, you know, this won't do. I need to do something about this. So I set up a delivery service from the shop using this van, and twice a day it was loaded to the top with all the essential items, all the groceries and things, and I did this all for free. This Reliant, just wonderful, and you know, I am gutted to be selling it. You know, I'm gonna miss this van so much, but my future's the camper, and you know, the costs of renovating the camper are constantly skyrocketing, and you know, I need to sell this, I need the money. And it's going to a good home. The guy that's bought it, funnily enough, is from the village where I live, so it's not going far, and he said he's going to look after it, so it's good that it's going to have a new lease of life once again. But I just can't stress enough how great this three-wheeled van has been, and I am going to miss it so much. Well, it's a beautiful morning today. I finally got my hair cut, so that's a massive relief, not having that keep getting in my eyes and that horrible load of hair at the back of my head that was really irritating me. So today I'm going to be mostly having a look at doing some insulation. The insulation is in this large package here, and there's only certain areas I can actually start to insulate. So I can't insulate under the windows because they still need to be replaced because they leak. But I can do the kind of panels around these places here. This is my kind of floor plan design. The insulation's out of the bag. Now I can start to measure and cut it. When it comes to van life, the community, everyone seems to always be very friendly and eager to help out. But when it comes to insulation, it does tend to cause some arguments and heated conversations. In previous episodes I'd been talking about something called Thinsulate, which is a brand which is considered the best insulation, but I could not seem to get hold of any in the UK, and the import costs from America were just way out of my budget. But I found this one online. This is 10mm thick, so that's 1 centimetre, and apparently it's very, very good. So it's got the kind of metal outer layer, and then it's got the foam, and then this side is adhesive, so you cut it to size and you just stick it in place. And supposedly this does not retain moisture, it can't mould, it's fire resistant, and it's very good at insulating hot and cold, and also sound deadening. So it's certainly the best that I think I could find on the budget I have and my location. Now, I'm no master carpenter, but if I could give a tip about kind of using a tape measure on walls, because I want the insulation to actually go up under here, you want to cover as much of the surface as possible. Some people might try and measure it by kind of holding it and pulling it down, but if you put the end in and you actually push against the metal, you get this kind of almost like a raindrop effect, and when you do that you can actually get quite an accurate measurement. Well, as far as a first attempt goes, it could have gone better. Seems like it's slightly tapered. I really struggled with this corner, but it is in, but I guess I'll learn as I go along. So although I kind of made a bit of a pig's ear of the first one, the other three that I've done so far, they've actually gone in quite nicely. So I'm quite pleased with that. And then I'm picking up the new window today, so see about fitting that. I'm not sure if it's something I can do or if I'm going to have to take it somewhere. But when the new window's in, I can insulate around it and then actually start to build this wall and put the kitchen appliances and things in. I've just got back from town and I have picked up my new double glazed window. So here it is, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So it's nice and thick. That's about 10 mil thick. I think he actually said it's 14 mil. Just over a centimetre, 2 panes of glass, completely sealed, and that one's going to be fit in that frame. The guys who are going to extend my roof are going to fit the window for me. I've commissioned 3 more windows to be cut, so that will go one here, and also one on the sliding door. But this one here, I am not going to replace double glazed. I'm actually going to take this window out, and that's going to have a metal skin welded, so it's going to be a solid wall again, because this is where the toilet and shower is going to be, and there's no need to have a window there, and that's going to save me 90 quid not having a double glazed window put in. Spring at last. When I did my first van life video, I was sleeping in a tent surrounded by ice, and I just look at the weather today. So, today's plan. More insulating. So my dad has done a fair amount of work in here, ready for some insulation to be done. So what's going on in here?
I've done it.
What have you done?
Well, you've got 2 bits of oak in the floor. You've got one bit here that's split, and I've just got to use the other bit to make that work. And then this bit, but this is too high. Okay, so you've got a choice. We can either try and chisel it level, this one is fine, or you've got to do something with the metalwork.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so it might well be that we have to, when we finally fit it, we have to cut a little rebate along there, and along there, and along there, so it fits flush with these.
That might be easiest.
It's slightly thicker than this.
Are you enjoying it?
Lovely. Cutting down the grain on 100-year-old oak, yeah.
And this is what he's done. So I asked him to build a frame around this wheel arch so I can insulate it and then box it in, so then we can start to fill in this area and build the kitchen appliances and all of that, the kitchen unit. Of course, once again, my mum has come to help today. How's it going today, Mum?
Well, we've been very busy measuring, cutting, measuring twice probably, cutting, but then Alex is sticking the insulation on the metal.
So we've been measuring these sections here, but because the wheel arch is a funny shape and it's not exactly square, these rectangles are tapered, so it's narrower one end, so you do have to kind of cut it fairly precisely, but we're getting there. Because the back is sticky, you want to try and get it right first time, because once it's in there you can't really slide it around. There we go. And repeat. There we go, we've got the whole wheel arch is now boxed in and insulated. So that's a massive step in the right direction. So soon we can start to actually enclose all of this in wood and start to build the kitchen appliances. This caravan behind me used to be my home, So when I was living on the old farm, this was essentially my bedroom. So I used the house for the kitchen and bathroom and things, but for about 7 years this was where I lived. And I'm having to sell it, so since I'm moving on to different things, I'm having to sell this lovely little thing. It's in a bit of a state, but I'm hoping someone who buys it will restore it and make it lovely, because it's a beautiful little caravan. And a bit like the Reliant, I'm very, very sad to see it go. I don't really want to sell it, but I have nowhere to keep it, no way of keeping it, so hopefully it will find a nice new home at some point. So inside the caravan, it's a little bit run down, but there's no leaks. And at the moment I'm just using it to store some things. So I've got the fridge and the oven, which are going to go into the camper van, and I've got the insulation and things in here too on its roll. If it wasn't for the camper, let's say I just had a classic car with quite a strong engine, I would consider restoring this caravan to be my home and travelling in that, but that's not how it's worked out. So if there was a way for me to keep this caravan and restore it one day, I would. So, oh well, what can you do? I was driving to town, and over the last kind of few times I've driven the van, I've noticed that the exhaust is getting louder and louder, and I've just taken the engine cover off here to find that it's leaking from the join. If I start her up now, there we go. It's blowing quite badly from here, and I can feel it on my hand puffing away, so I'm going to have to deal with that once the engine's cooled down.